All right. So Don is in charge of this one. I'm his
I
helper.
am?
Yeah.
I was in charge of the other one.
Well, that's why you pay the big bucks.
Yeah, right. Well, I thought that you were a much better spokesperson for this than I would be, because this is always one of the questions that comes up when we talk about doing a foundation seminar. That
Just a fun side note of I was listening to Brené Brown because that's my life. And I heard her, but she's talking about interviewing someone. She goes, well, I did a thematic analysis of blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, there are probably 12 people listening to this that know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's that sort of, we get so honed in that it's hard to pull back and understand our field with fresh eyes.
So one of the classes that I was referring to in the last session is a class that's being taught at another campus. And the title of the class is actually the question that propels the course. And it's Gary's pretty upset because it's what he wants to do for a seminar too, but it's called "Are We Living in the Anthropocene?" Mm-hmm. So that's a question that then, what the heck's that, right? And then he has a bunch of questions he wants the students to think about. He is going to have to, at some point, explain what an Anthropocene is and why they should all be worried about it. But you got to get them in there to at first have a conversation about, why it connects to them, and then how different academic disciplines will use that as a framework to think about big picture, problems. That's what we want the students to be able to do. Now, to explain that in your, so I wasn't really sure when Wendy separated this way, if we were going to have this discussion about the academic question, is that going to then embed into the syllabus, or is it just how we're thinking about the class as we develop it? I think probably both, but I wasn't sure if she wanted this to kind of scaffold this conversation into then a question about designing your syllabus to do that. Dawn, did you know?
No, I don't. I hadn't thought of it in that way. I guess I was assuming that as we would, whatever the topic of discussion is for weeks 2 and 3, would somehow, or whatever the time period is, would be a way of showing them how academics ask questions, how academics approach things, what we do, that sort of a thing. I don't want to teach it and say, well, this is an academic question, and
no.
Here's what makes it so. I mean, that's kind of what we're trying to get away from,
well,
more generally.
I think most of it will be, and this is my approach, it doesn't have to be everyone's approach, but I think becomes more, for me, a modeling behavior. If I, pursue this topic, I can talk about why I wanted to pursue it, what sort of places I look for information or more data or more authority on this particular topic, how that, maybe directs my academic exploration. I would say that you do want to have some sort of meta conversation about it, but it doesn't have to happen right away. You're going to want to try to lead them into that